Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and I just want to share how I'm boycotting Tim Hortons. Now, I'm not going to rant and rave, okay? I'm just going to state some facts. When Tim Hortons came to Wakefield, Quebec, I was thrilled, especially that it was open 24 hours at the time. And my son was working at the mill. Take my son to work for 4. We'd get a coffee. I'd come back at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, pick him up. We'd get a coffee and we'd ride home. Now, I had a real problem with Tim. I had no problems with the nighttime overnight staff, the one young lad that always got my order right. But any other time, 75% of my orders were always wrong. Some of them dangerously wrong. Either there was no bacon on my sandwich, or I ordered one thing and they gave me another. They never, ever, 90% of the time, they always got my tea wrong. But back then, they had chili cheese fries, and they put them in this little paper cardboard box. And I asked them to put it in a soup tub, and it was an argument every single time. I said, the soup tub is safer. Put it in the big soup tub and put a lid on it. And they said, but you won't get it because the small soup tub, they said it won't hold as much. I said, I don't care. I'd rather be safe. And the day that I got one and my mother-in-law and I were on our way to Ottawa, and I asked her while I was driving to pass me my chili cheese fries, and she stuck her hand in the bag and burned her hands because they put it in a box. It was closed, but when she went to grab it, the box was so flimsy, her fingers went right inside, right? Her hand went right into it, and she burnt her hand. So I've had an ongoing love-hate relationship with Tim Hortons because I wanted to support local economy. I want to support local jobs. And I certainly love having a place where I can get a cup of tea. But 90% of the time they got my tea wrong. So I stopped going for a very long, well, let's put it this way. The last time I went to Tim Hortons before the pandemic, now, everybody who's going to ask me that I need to be more patient because of COVID-19 and the corona, this is not true. Has nothing to do with the pandemic. Okay? I've been working really hard at being more patient, more kind because I've had to wait hours on hold on the phone. I've had to stand with social distancing in the sun 6 feet apart while waiting to be allowed into a store. If you're working in a food industry these days, be grateful you have a job. But the last time I went, before the pandemic hit, I ordered 2 sausage bacon breakfast sandwiches with hash browns for Gracie and a cup of tea. And now they make you pay before they'll hand you anything. So I paid. They handed me my tea first, which they actually got right. Then she handed me 2 breakfast sandwiches that were not on 12-grain bagels. They were on regular bagels. And there was no bacon. They were just slapped together, and they weren't toasted either. So I put them back on the counter and said, excuse me, because there were people waiting behind the counter. And the woman walked away, and I put them back on the counter and said, excuse me, there's no bacon on my sandwiches. And they're not on 12-grain bagels. And she completely ignored me. Didn't make eye contact, kept walking, kept doing other things. 3 people standing behind the counter, because I'm in the drive-through window, are going, because they're not getting service either, right? So I said, thank you, Tim Hortons, for a very expensive cup of tea, because that bill was $10, somewhere around $10. And all I got out of it was a cup of tea, because when my order was wrong, she ignored me. So that's when I decided I was never going back. But I've had more patience, more tolerance. And Tim Hortons was one of the few places I could get a cup of tea. So today, I'm breaking all the rules. I phoned Briar and said, "Are you working?" And he said, "Nope." I said, "I'm coming to get you." He said, "Oh, no, social distancing." I said, "Briar, your father works in Ottawa every day. What are you going to give me that I haven't already been exposed to?" And he goes, "Well, if you get sick, it's on you." I said, "Fine." And I said, "Do you want anything at Tim Hortons?" He said, "No, I'm good. I got some stuff from the IGA." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to get a cup of tea and a breakfast sandwich." So I pull into the machine and I give my order. A bacon, it never changes, a sausage bacon breakfast sandwich on a toasted 12-grain bagel with a hash brown and an extra large orange pico tea, 1 tea bag, 2 milk. Now, when I said that, she said, "Just a minute, please." And someone else came on and then asked me to repeat my order because the first person didn't understand English. I paid for it, and the first thing she handed me was my tea. They have a new lid that I don't particularly like. It's a raised lid. I like the flat lids, okay? But this is this new lid. So she handed me my tea like this, holding it like that. So I automatically reached for it to grab it this way because her hand's on it. The lid wasn't snapped on. It was just sitting on top. And when I grabbed it, the cup squished, tea came out on my hand, on my lap, and I'm like screeching. I'm just cranky. Brother's going, "Hold on, Mom, relax." And I put the cup back down. And I said, "You didn't put the lid on it. I just burned my hand and my lap." And Briar's like, "Calm down, Mom. Like, I'm really working at being patient, right?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And she took it away. And then she handed me my sandwich and my hash brown, and I'm still sitting there stunned that I've been scalded. And all she did was apologize and take the tea away. And she brought me another cup of tea, and I thought, fine, right? I grabbed my tea, and there's 2 tea bags in it, no milk. And I could tell, I didn't even take the lid off. I could tell there was no milk because a bubble of tea had come up through that little hole in the lid, and it was clear. So I handed it back and I said, "I asked for 1 tea bag, 2 milk." And she just rolled her eyes and took my cup again. And I just put the car in the truck and drive, and I pulled away. And Briar goes, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" I said, "Briar, if I don't pull out, I'm going to lose my temper." And he goes, "You mean you didn't?" No, I said, "No, that wasn't losing my temper. I was upset because I got burned. There's a difference." I said, "But if I had to pull away, or I was going to lose it. Snap. You know what I mean? Flurry to the solar plexus kind of deal. Snap." So I said the discretion was the better part of valor. I had to get out of there. I had to get out. So I'm not going to bother sending this to Tim Hortons corporate. I just want to share, just so you guys think that I'm not, I'm not alone in this. I'm going to read you some of the reviews, the Google reviews from the Wakefield, Quebec Tim Hortons. "Meh, it's Tim. Bad coffee, long lines. I wish I had encountered a McDonald's in the way their coffee is way better than Tim Hortons. I remember 10 years ago, Tim Hortons coffee used to be great. Now I can barely stand it. What happened? It was sold to the United States." Lena says, "Wakefield, Quebec, the washrooms are filthy. Employees, no hairnets worn. Very slow service, yet many employees." Here's a 1-star. "Watered down coffee, overcharged, ordered 2 turkey club sandwiches, got two ham and cheese paninis. Breakfast sandwiches were flavorless. Not sure we would ever stop at Tim Hortons in Canada again based on today's experience." Now, this place is based on Wakefield, Quebec. "Too many orders that did not go out in order. Some waited 5 minutes to get their orders, looked like the manager was on the cash, and continued to direct his staff rather than putting someone else on the cash and helping out. Totally disorganized. S. Ferguson, the line is out the door and they have one cashier, always a dirty bathroom. I hate this. The only option for miles. No Timbits, Tim Hortons, and 2 kinds of donuts. Get it together. Took someone 10 minutes before they noticed me walking around doing nothing. Still slow, slow, slow. Greg says, I think the muffins are better here than other Tim Hortons. However, I've had lukewarm chili twice now, and both times the service in getting it reheated wasn't great. I think the temperature they keep it at is probably very good for bacteria to grow, so I've changed my rating to 2 stars. Chris says, wait times are so long, makes me late for work every day. Daryl says, this place is a joke. I order a breakfast meal sausage and egg muffin. They give me just the sausage on a frozen muffin, no cheese, no egg. It was from the drive-thru, so I did not find out till 5 minutes on the highway. Never going there again. I will stick with McDonald's. The food is better. Are you listening to this, Tim Hortons? McDonald's food is better? Denise says, terrible, didn't give me what I ordered both times in a matter of 2 hours. Martin says, food not fresh, 3 errors in our order. Sad chicken wrap. The service is always very slow at this Tim Hortons. Maggie says, order from drive-thru is always wrong and cold. Breakfast menu, never expect cold egg and cheese, not melted. Coffee's burning hot, that could scald you. If you ask for a toasted lunch sandwich, it won't be toasted. Bread will be whole wheat. Always check your order in the bag before you leave because it will be missing things. Not really so bilingual and maybe get order wrong. Menu only in French. Even if store is empty, they still rush order and it's cold and done without care or love. Keep going back thinking they will change. Think they make crappy food that is missing order because you will be on the highway before you realize it. Wow. Thank you, Maggie. John says, very busy here today at lunch, plus they have slow, insufficient service. Carl says, never any selection, slowest service ever. They mess most orders up and some of it. Let me see. Oh, dirty and slow. They had no eggs for breakfast, so I had to get bacon sandwich, which cost $2 more than my usual wrap. Probably the only Tim Hortons I've been to that was sold out of Timbits and soup with literally 4 donuts left on display. I don't for the life of me understand why they're still getting 3.5 stars. They must have people who come in and post positive ones for the balance. But I'm telling you, I'm not the only one. I'm boycotting Tim Hortons from now on. And I have been a patron of Tim Hortons ever since it opened in Wakefield. But the sad truth is their customer service sucks. Their food sucks. The orders are wrong, and customers are treated indifferently at best. And I'm treated rudely, and I can't tell if it's just because they're rude or it's because I'm English. Tim Hortons, I'm not going to tell you to get your crap together anymore. I'm hoping a McDonald's will open up here so I can at least get a decent breakfast sandwich and a decent cup of coffee. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying bye-bye, Tim Hortons.